Hi everybody, Zach here for another episode of our flagship program, the Spideydude Experience. This episode is brought to you by our loyal patrons over at patreon.com/Spideydude Network. Pledge today and get both early access to content on the main channel, as well as entirely exclusive content, like brand new shows and commentaries for old Spidey stuff, including commentaries for the MTV series, for example, as well as the video editions for Voices from the Area Gargoyles podcast. And our Patreon first show focused on the Krakoan era of X-Men. We also want to encourage you to check out our other programs that are all available on Audio Edition. These are all over on Spideydude.com, and they're available on your favorite podcasting app. Shows like Clone Saga Chronicles, the show that started this entire network, Spectacular Radio, Spectacular Sal Buscema era podcast, Amazing Spider-Man Classics, the Slot Symposium, and the sister program on this channel, Make Mine Mayday. As always, be sure to hit the like button. It really does help us big time in the algorithm. And additionally, if you have topics you'd like to cover on a live show or in a recorded medium, make sure to leave a comment down below the description or shoot us an email at SpideyDudeRadioNetwork@gmail.com. Finally, make sure to join our community. Be alerted to all new updates by hitting that subscribe button and clicking on the bell. But to be clear, your viewership is more than enough for us. And if you want to hang out with us off YouTube, you can always go to our Discord, where we have all sorts of fun stuff, or you can join us on our social medias and follow us there. All the links are down in the description below. As always, we want to be making some references to visual aids and or live comments. If you're an audio listener, pay that no mind, but leave that 5-star review for us. Any and all feedback we will read on future episodes. Thank you, and without further ado, let's get rolling with this episode of the Spideydude Experience.
We're live. We are
here, everybody. Welcome to the show. I am Zach Winter, your friendly neighborhood webmaster and host of the program, joined once again by producer Neil Bogenrieder. Hello, Neil.
Hi. It's gonna be low energy tonight, probably.
Listen, I have been working like 12-hour days for the last 4 days. 5 days. Day's 5. Today was day 5. I am also extremely sunburnt. For those that are audio listeners, you can see that my face is very sunburnt.
Wait, how can audio listeners see?
If you go watch it on youtube.com/Spideydude Radio Network.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, okay, we're going to talk a little bit of SDCC. That was obviously
Jesus Christ.
I said SDCC, not STD. You took it another step there, Neil.
Okay.
That Ryan was apparently stuck in a highway accident. I was stuck with Houston traffic, which is 1 out of 10. Do not recommend.
It's not Austin. It's not Austin traffic. Austin traffic on I-35 is like, if yours is a 0 out of 10, mine is like a -10.
Abandon all hope, ye who enter here. So, Walter, I didn't need to know that. Anyway, Walter's particularly surly in the comments section tonight. So let's talk a little bit about the SDCC. Have you watched Deadpool and Wolverine?
No, don't spoil it for me. I swear to God, if you do, I will find you. I know where you live.
You do know where I live. But I would not spoil it for you. You've managed to avoid spoilers this long?
Yes.
Well done. When are you going to go see it?
I don't know. Maybe this weekend, maybe next weekend, whenever my mom can.
Gotcha.
My mom wants to go see it.
So the highlight of day 1, I know you were kind of excited about this. Marvel Rivals.
Well, okay, I'm not like super excited for it, but it's like, hey, this looks kind of fun, even though it's developed by NetEase, who makes like shitty mobile games filled with microtransactions.
So basically they kind of everybody at SDCC got a chance to see some behind the scenes stuff. They debuted the trailer, and then apparently it's Jeff the Land Shark,
who has like he's outgrown West Coast Avengers, where he was created, and just become like his own little mini cultural juggernaut. Apparently he's really annoying to fight against in the game, because he's like a support character who will like do the Kirby thing where he eats the enemy player and then like tosses them.
Yeah.
You ever played Smash Brothers? That's kind of the closest equivalent I can think of.
Yeah, I can see that.
And
Uh,
Thor was also announced as a playable character, along with a couple others. I think they announced Karn the Master Weaver from the first Spider-Verse event,
because you demanded it.
and Spider-Zero from Jed McKay's Spider-Verse event.
Because also you demanded it.
They're in niche picks, and I don't know how they're going to play, but I don't care. Jeff Main's where we at?
Yeah. They also had the Celebration of Life for Deadpool and Wolverine, which basically turned into a screening of the movie at Hall H. So that was pretty cool. They also had brought out everybody that was in the movie, surprisingly. Then we get the next big thing, which was on Friday the 26th.
They didn't do a Spider-Man panel, but they put ASM into the next big thing panel.
Yeah, which is kind of weird. Go on.
We'll talk more about this next episode for Ultimate, but they're doing a 1 year in story that will include the Ultimate version of two major Marvel characters into the new Ultimate universe. Like I said, we'll talk more about that. But they're apparently also making a new Ultimate title to debut in, I think, that same month.
Mm-hmm.
So a bunch of Infinity Comics shit that no one ever reads because no one ever wants to use the app for anything other than just archiving their stuff.
I mean, I use it for I read old comics on Unlimited.
Okay. Jerry Dugan and Danny Kim are launching a West Coast Avengers run with Iron Man and War Machine, relevant because it includes Spider-Woman, who recently moved out to California after her son was Winter Soldier into becoming the Green Mamba. And then Marvel's 2025 banner is going to be One World Under Doom. For those of you who care what that is, go read Blood Hunt is it Blood Hunt? Yeah, it's Blood Hunt number 5 to see what's going on that leads into that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the main one, and we'll kind of click on this link here, is Joe Kelly and Justina Ireland are headlining the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man with Ed McGuinness and Gleb Melnikov. Basically, the idea is that Dr. Doom is a new Sorcerer Supreme, and he's chosen Spider-Man as his herald to deal with, like, the big stuff, I guess. I don't know. But he gets, like, a new Doom-powered suit. This looks like a toy. Look at this. And he gets like 8 extra lives to fight magic creatures, which, you know, I guess we're just moving further and further away from the core identity of Spider-Man the longer this brand goes on.
Basically, Ed McGuinness got to design a new armor for Spider-Man because you demanded it.
Yeah, I'm sure I did.
They also debuted the 2 covers that are going to come out in November.
Yeah, 61 and 62, which are McGuinness. Gleb Melnikov, who got into a slap fight with Twitter people who were mad that Shay, the rehabilitation lady at Ravencroft, is back. To be fair, Gleb was kind of 100% in the right on that one. He replied with, "Dear Damian Wayne fans, y'all are actually normal. I'm realizing that now."
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Did you see what Patrick Gleason shared? No, don't care. Unless it's like an actual thing of substance. Is it the one where he posted the live streamer suit, the Twitch streamer suit? I think Ryan's talking about the Pat Gleason Twitter post where he posted the Twitch streamer suit. Yeah, I don't care. Unless it's something concrete, I don't care.
So, yeah, but yeah, they then they did X-Men from the Ashes. Obviously, is a big thing.
They also did trailers. They also did trailers for Venom War and Wolverine Revenge.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you said, they basically did a little panel for the new X-Men era. They announced 2 new titles, Psylocke and X-20 and Laura Kinney Wolverine.
Just gonna flood the market more with
friend of the show. Erica Schultz is writing the Wolverine title. So I'll be honest with you guys. Neither of those titles look bad. They have good creative teams: Alyssa Wong and Vicente Caratu on Psylocke, and I'm trying to remember who was with Schultz on Wolverine or on Laura Kinney Wolverine. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
But they kind of have very overlapping premises, as in like this character who's on a team book goes solo to fight the fights that no one else can or will, which, you know, it's fine, but it's like we have, you can't announce two of the same title back to back at the same convention without without some note of what's different in their premises. The big thing that everyone got mad about, Robert Downey Jr. is back as Doctor Doom in the most we want people to remember when we were popular move they could have done ever. They have brought Robert Downey Jr. back as Dr. Victor Von Doom. His fit was awful.
Now officially changed Avengers the Kang Dynasty
to they actually announced the Wolverine title here. So Giada Belviso is the artist. But yeah, I love Marvel trying to
so basically
recapture the magic.
They basically have talked about what the next major pillars of the MCU are going to be. They talked about Deadpool and Wolverine, obviously. Captain America Brave New World, which comes out this upcoming Valentine's Day. Thunderbolts got a little bit of an update, as did some early footage of Fantastic Four, which is
that Red Guardian costume looked fucking awful.
I haven't even looked at that part.
My friend sent me a picture of it. Can they stop trying to make these costumes look like Jim Lee had a stroke?
The Fantastic Four has now been renamed to the Fantastic Four First Steps.
And again, look, this one made me upset because it's like, why not just call it the Fantastic Four? No one cares. Like, there's probably some kind of legal bullshit that's involved with calling it Fantastic Four. Just call it the Fantastic Four. It's like, it's like the hey Adam, welcome to the show. Welcome to me mid rant. It's like the 1989 Batman film didn't stop Matt Reeves' film from being called The Batman. Just call Fantastic Four The Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Somebody in marketing got a hold of it. Obviously, Avengers Doomsday and then Secret Wars is confirmed to be the 6th Avengers movie.
And I guess Logan did distract Kang after all, because Kang's gone and Doctor Doom is in.
Yeah.
And I think they said,
which also basically confirms that it's going to be the Hickman Secret Wars and not the 1984 Secret Wars.
They actually said that it's probably going to be they're bigger fans of the 1984 Secret Wars miniseries or maxi series. So I think they said there's going to be more inspiration on that. But
either way, there's a lot of Doom in there in both stories. So
it's a good chance to draw from both. I really hope they don't just do the pages from Hickman's book where Doctor Doom or where God Mode Doom just tears Thanos apart and tears out his skeleton, because there's a certain build up to that moment that casuals on Twitter just found the page when they searched up top 10 epic Doctor Doom moments and posted it for clout. And I'm hoping they don't just straight up rip that page from the comics, because it's completely different contextually. Here we go. Babyface Wolverine, for whatever reason, she looks like she's 12.
Yeah, it's really weird.
And that's it. Bye, Marvel.
Yeah, Women of Marvel was the only panel that was on day 4. A very light array of panels. Now, somebody that was there and can talk about his experience here, since he's now joined us. Tell us a little bit about your to being at San Diego Comic-Con this year.
It was busy.
Hang on one sec. I need to stop my screen. Hang on.
Okay. Did this feel most like pre-COVID?
I guess. I wasn't really on the floor that much. I was mostly at panels. Well, it's funny. So I think it was Friday. Yeah, it was Friday. My my local shop has a booth every year. And I went over just to kind of say hi. And while I was there, somebody asked them like, "Oh, was like, how is it this year compared to last year? Because last year with the strike, everyone was essentially there was more people were in the exhibitor hall,
Mhm.
I guess, for the most part, and checking out the smaller panels and stuff. So this person was asking like, "Oh, well, like, how was your business last year?" And an interesting point that got brought up that I didn't really think of last year was they were saying like, "Oh, it was it was okay, but it wasn't it was kind of like half and half because actually the floor was so crowded that it maybe impeded some sales from happening.
Oh
Like
wow.
there wasn't as much room to move, so it's like, they might pass the booth by and all that. So that was something interesting to think about that I hadn't thought about from last year because the whole thing about last year was like, oh, the dealers did great, which I'm sure they did because everyone was on the floor. But that was I just thought that was an interesting perspective, and it was funny because that day Mark Wade just randomly came by the booth and said and had a conversation with the shop owner, so that was cool.
Yeah, I saw that when you posted that in the group chat. Speaking of Mark Wade, DC had a really good. This is not related at all. DC had a really good turnout as in regards to new titles. Not necessarily like the movie stuff, but the comic stuff. They had a great turnout.
Yeah.
Whole new
Ne-
line of comics.
Yeah, I think next year is going to be their year for the films. Obviously, Joker 2, Electric Boogaloo, the musical, notwithstanding, I just think I think next year with Superman hitting theaters, I think that's going to be like the big thing.
Right, but even that, like they announced like the whole Absolute line of DC Comics, a new Justice League title because they haven't had Justice League since like what 2021. And they
Right.
got Wade, which is why I brought up after what Adam said, and Dan Mora, who's like the DC powerhouse talent.
Yeah.
On was essentially going to be their new flagship. So it's looking really good for DC. They had also announced like their entire like line wide shakeup of talent, or who's staying on which title.
Yeah.
It's DC had a okay. I'm gonna be honest. Like this is related to this. Marvel's turnout was really lackluster. Like a bunch of Infinity comics, like ASM stuff we kind of already knew. Like not the particulars, but like we knew that this 8 Deaths of Spider-Man stuff was coming.
Right.
They didn't have anything exciting to announce. Like it was just Venom War stuff, more X-Men titles. West Coast Avengers book.
The biggest thing was RDJ and Fantastic Four footage, test footage, whatever.
I think those two things. I mean, obviously, Marvel Studios was the highlight. I mean, everybody was talking about the RDJ thing. But on the comic side, I agree with you. This was a very weak year, even on the toy side. Okay, so I can talk about the toys too, because I watched the panel. They announced a bunch of new toys. There's 2 teases specifically that they announced as well, that we can kind of talk about, which pretty much confirms, well, it confirms something that some of us, I knew it was eventually going to happen. I just didn't know when.
What are we doing?
Hang on, I'm finding the SDCC panel. Hang on. Maybe.
I also wasn't even excited for like the Marvel Studios panel. Like that just kind of was like, okay, we need to pivot fast from Jonathan Majors. What can we do? Bring back Robert Downey Jr. for like 80 million for like a third of the film's budget. Bring back one guy.
Yeah. So, okay. So let me. I'm sending you the links in the chat. So let's Toy Arc has all these images. They have every year they have like a breakfast for like media, and they revealed Kang the Conqueror, comic book Kang the Conqueror, but it's going to be $60, but it's because he comes with his floating timeshare and some extra accessories. That
Y'all gonna pay $60 for this?
I already have a Kang, so it's one of those things. I do I need the chair? That's kind of like where it also comes with face swaps and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
Right. But like my point broadly is like, is this worth $60 to anyone? Like a Marvel Legend on its own is like hard to justify at like $25. This
Yeah.
is like a legend plus like a piece of plastic you can sit him in.
But there are people that really wanted something like this and they missed out on the first Kang, so I'm not surprised.
I guess to me it's mostly just like I already have a hard time justifying the Marvel Legends I do have, and even those are gifts. Like the only ones I've got are like the 2014 Silk and the House of X Cyclops, and those are both given to me by you and Venkman. And like even then, I have a hard time justifying like why are these on my shelf, if that makes sense. Because they're gifts and I cherish them because they're gifts and they're characters I like. But at the same time, it's like I can't see myself buying a $25 piece of plastic that will just sit on my shelf.
I look. There are those that are collectors and they like these types of things. I think these type of reissues, they at least it gives people that didn't get it an incentive. I think a lot of people were somewhat disappointed with the previous Kang figure, and I think that this kind of almost makes up for it. But yeah, the other big thing that was announced at that particular panel was also the Sentinels, which are based on the old video game from like Sega Genesis. And these are a 2-pack that this was teased. The big giant rock was teased on one of the other live streams. And so this was I think a Hasbro Pulse exclusive. And so yeah, that is the that was basically day one. And then
check out that rock, baby.
Yeah.
This reminds me of like, okay, you remember like the Star Wars High Republic era where one of the characters was just a rock? That's what this reminds me of.
Yeah.
Oops. There goes Kang. This isn't really relevant, but the Revoltech Agent Venom is getting a reissue.
Yeah, that is
sick. Friend of the show Tyler has one, I think.
Yes.
This looks awesome. I'm not sure if I'm gonna get it, but
my problem with the Revoltech so often is that they are really cool to dynamically pose, but they are also extremely fragile. And so they have a tendency to kind of fall apart. And for the amount of money you're paying, because it is an import figure, that part for me just doesn't feel like it justifies.
I've seen really good things about their Iron Man figure, and Tyler I think has never had an issue with his Agent Venom figure.
Yeah.
But I get the sense that he doesn't really touch his figures and like throw them at things and smash them.
No, he displays them just like the rest of us.
Here's this one. Hasbro, they did a thing.
So there was a lot of reveal, and that I just saw that link. It was not.
Oh yeah, right. The Knight Rider. Hell yeah. A lot of War for Cybertron characters, or not War for Cybertron characters, War for Cybertron.
Yeah, go to that second link there.
Oh, okay. Damn, I was actually interested in something for once.
I'm sorry. They did do a full reveal that these the Wolverine, the costume to Wolverine and the Deadpool were leaked a while ago. The other Logan was not leaked and was a bit of a surprise. It also comes with head pull. So all that was in the trailers, so that will be coming out very soon. The other thing.
Zach, your mic just blew out for a second there.
Sorry, guys. I didn't realize that it was going to automatically play the video. So there was a big announcement that was made yesterday, which was kind of a surprise.
Well, that looks cool. That Iron Man right there. Holy shit, that looks cool.
Yeah. So I think this is something that Neil wants to buy.
This thing. So have you ever drank Goblin formula? Have you ever thrown blondes off of bridges? Well, my friend, the Green Goblin mask.
You have $124. It can be yours.
The Green Goblin Willem Dafoe mask is now, I believe, on pre-order from Hasbro. Oh Jesus, that's loud! Holy shit!
So yeah, it comes with its own stand. This is part of their series of like.
Holy shit! We got a Willem Dafoe lookalike.
Yeah. So
this guy's going so hard. He's like so dedicated to the bit.
Yeah. Comes with.
I love him. This man looks like he's about to fucking throw your girlfriend off a bridge. Holy shit.
Oh, dude, yeah. Can this Spider-Man come out to play?
Misery. That's what you've chosen.
So I did send this to JR, and JR's reaction was priceless. He literally said, "Oh, something that I can scare these little shits whenever they come for trick-or-treating." Hang on, let me make sure I get the actual quote. "Holy cow, man, I could really scare any little shits who come to my door trick-or-treating this year."
Hello.
Hello, my dear. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie, there is a huge part of me that wants to get that and set it right there and just have it sitting there on my.
So my house is getting repairs right now. It's that's why my office is covered in drop cloths. But once the construction is over, I can take off the thing. I can set it right here, pretend that I'm hallucinating and talking to the Goblin mask. I can do the thing where the mask goes, "First, we attack his heart." They're also pretty cool because they're selling us bombs now.
Yes, it comes with a 2-pack of the pumpkin bombs that make the sounds and the cackles. So, yeah. So you can actually, it looks really insanely good. The detailing, the sculpting. This is something that I think a lot of us were wanting. We've seen.
Oh, they got the guy! They got the guy!
Neil is so entertained by this guy. If you're not watching us on YouTube, you're missing out. I just think that the mask looks really insanely good.
Yeah! Look at him!
The pure joy right now.
This is Shakespearean. Look at this. He's going so hard.
Apparently. Oh, look. Future without the red nose.
Oh my god! You can't make anything. This is art. This is why we advertise. This is why we make.
So what's really interesting for me on this is they can already do a future release on this because it does not have the purple highlights the way the first mask does. This is definitely from No Way Home. So yeah, I have yet to buy any of these things, and half the time they end up at Ollie's anyway. But I don't think this one will be one of them. I think this is going to sell extremely well. I think people are going to really want to get this.
The $125 price tag is really
that's not surprising. That's about how much the other replica stuff has gone for in the past.
No, I know, but it's like if it wasn't like over $100, I'd probably buy this in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
just for the bit to have it on my on my shelf, just so I can pretend the Goblin is.
Well, maybe somebody will get it for you as a gift. Pre-orders are available right now for both of these items. Some of the stuff that they announced at SDCC. So I'll go through it off the top of my head. They announced a few 2-packs, but One was a Punisher, which was kind of surprising.
Oh wait, is that a new link? Did you post a new link that I need to?
Yeah, I'm trying to find the freaking link. So we'll talk about the. Let me send this link to you because it's just showing you the picture of the last reveal they made of the weekend, which is somewhat Spider-Man related, and I'll explain why here in a second. So pull that up.
Sorry, I was excited. By the way, that like you don't get to see me excited that often, but when I do, it's a experience.
So they have not done a brown suit Wolverine since I believe 2018.
And
So,
if I don't point it out, Kanal, friend of the show, Kanal, aka get to the Chopra, on Twitter will get mad at me. This is Byrne era Wolverine, not Krakoan era Wolverine, which is a very similar costume but does not have the full red belt.
yeah. So this is based on the all different X-Men era. This suit is the first of the Secret Wars inspired retro wave, and what I think is going to be the Secret Wars inspired retro wave. So this actually uses the new articulation they brought to Logan with the Astonishing X-Men, which just came out as part of the 85th anniversary just a few weeks ago. This was Dan Ewan, who is one of the marketing guys at Hasbro Marvel Legends. This was the Wolverine that he has been looking forward to revealing all year. Obviously, this year is the 50th anniversary of Wolverine. They did 5 2-packs. They did the Astonishing Wolverine with the 85th anniversary, and now this one. So, and they did like the Hellraiser Wolverine as well that they announced earlier. I think we talked about it a couple episodes ago. So this is like I think this is the last Wolverine of the year, maybe. But yeah, so this is kind of teasing the.
There's more. There's maybe more Wolverine. How many Wolverines have we had this year? 6,
8.
Jesus Christ!
They
really will just buy anything with Wolverine on it, huh?
There are people that absolutely love it, man. And there's a lot of variations. I mean, like they did Patch this year. They did this one. They did Astonishing X-Men Wolverine, which they've almost completed.
That was a popular wave, right? That was a popular figure, the Astonishing Era one.
It's coming out in stores right now, and I think it's done really well. People are really look excited about it, and they feel like they've been able to actually they use that old mold so much that I think a lot of people are like, yeah, especially newer collectors are the results have been pretty overwhelmingly positive about the Astonishing X-Men one.
Radiax in the chat. Oh, sorry, Adam. I just realized he's eclipsing you. If you want to see true joy, Radiac, go back like 10 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Poor Exiles. Tom Taylor and Detective will be one of his 7 reasons. Oof. That's rough. Apparently we got also a spammer that's talking about how our stream is so impressive.
Okay, that's great. Anyways,
so let me, God, Lee, where is the freaking SDCC review?
Web of Spider-Man Omnibus is coming out, by the way. That's
yes. Near Mint Condition has talked about this. It's going to come out allegedly in March, which may be actually February if we're going off of the Spider-Girl reveal. They said Spider-Girl was going to come out. Volume 5 was going to come out in November, and it's coming out this October. So we have gotten that confirmation. Kelly and I will talk about that on the next.
Here it is from Penguin Random House's website, Web of Spider-Man Omnibus Volume 1. Man, that What If Dark cover is awful. Thank you, Greg Land, friend of the show. Oh wait, I don't have it. I don't have my screen share on.
Yeah, you don't have your screen shared. Yeah.
Well, I have to see Greg Land, you do too. There we go. Oh yeah, that looks awful. Peter. Anyways, here's the Charles Vest cover for Web Omni. And apparently people are yapping about, I can't confirm this. People are yapping about a spec Omni, a JMD spec Omni. because the Web Omni also collects Kraven's Last Hunt. Again, the Kraven's Last Hunt industrial complex remains supreme.
Yeah. What the crap, man? Nobody did a write up of the.
What else is here? New Warriors, Omni, Murder Veil, Incredible Hulk Epic Collection, Doctor Strange. Yeah.
God Almighty. Okay. Anyway, I'm just gonna. I posted everything in our Discord. Hang on. I'm just gonna pull up the Discord because this is really upsetting me, and I'm going to do a full freaking post on Spideydude.com as a direct result of this bullshit. Anyway,
Hang on, Radiac says I'll go back banana stick up for the entire stream. That's fine, man. You got things to do. We don't blame you. But some quick thoughts that I'm surprised there was no San Diego Comic-Con big hits this year. Honestly, where ASM with little to no plans. Yeah, that kind of confirms my theory that 8 Death of Spider-Man is just a filler run to buy time for an actual run. Either that or there's going to kind of do like side quests like this until ASM 1000 and then get a real writer.
Yeah.
Not that Kelly isn't like a real writer, but like a dedicated creative team onto the book for longer than 10 issues.
All right, so here was the reveals from San Diego Comic-Con's panel. First thing that they did of terms of new stuff, they revealed a Crystal and Lockjaw 2-pack from the Inhumans, which is kind of cool. I was kind of looking forward to that. They also revealed that Quicksilver is going to get a retro card release. That's going to be a Walmart exclusive. The Inhumans is going to be a fan channel and on Amazon. So those are out. They also revealed a Wong and Doctor Strange 2-pack. Doctor Strange is kind of using a little bit of. It's got a new cape. He's got a slightly like unhinged head, and also has a Dormammu head swap. He also comes with that like ghost dog.
Bats.
Yep, Bats is included with this.
Where is this? Is this in general?
It's in the Discord.
Yeah, where?
Action figures.
Okay.
So that is going to also be an Amazon exclusive. Pre-order is going to be up Thursday the 15th at 1 p.m. Eastern. So pretty cool there. Then we have Punisher War Journal, which I don't know the character's name here, but it's also a fan channel, and it's got like the bendy arms and the handguns and stuff like that. The Punisher one was a little surprising because a lot of people thought they weren't going to produce any more Punisher stuff because of obvious misuse by certain individuals of the Punisher logo. But so this is using the new Renew Your Vow, or I think is using the Renew Your Vows buck or the Vulcan buck with it. So all pinless. They're also going to do a re-release of the Deadpool.
The Venomized Deadpool.
Venomized Deadpool. This is the Build-A-Figure that they had several years ago, recolored with more bright colors as part of the Deadpool thing. They also revealed, as we mentioned, those 3 Deadpool and Wolverine figures. They are bringing, this one just went on pre-order today. The Colossus from Deadpool #1. It is a going to be pre-order was that's going to be a mass retailer one. So if you like the Colossus from Deadpool and want to get that figure, you can. So then they also announced the 2-pack of the what was the name of those characters from Infinity War that was during the Battle of Wakanda, like those crazy
with the Black Order ones.
Yeah, the Black Order.
Corvus Glaive and Proxima Midnight. Jesus Christ, why do I know these characters?
These are the army builders. So that's going to be a fan channel and Amazon exclusive that comes out the 29th of August.
Ron the Space Knight.
Yeah, so if you want to pull up the 2 preview things, I have those. Those are the blue tinted ones with the shoe and the hand. Pull those up because that's actually the Spider-Man stuff that's actually related.
I have no idea where that is. I'm in the channel. Is it further up?
It is right. Yeah, it's further up.
Okay.
Right
Yeah,
after I
my
put.
screen again.
Yeah. So
Stop it!
Okay, so this shoe is a preview and a tease.
Zach, turn it off.
From what off?
There's a video playing.
Of what?
I have no idea.
Where?
How? Oh wait, it's for whatever reason it was playing the video on my end.
I couldn't hear anything. Okay, anyway.
Please cut that out.
Okay, anyway. So the shoe is going to be Spider-Boy. A lot of people thought this might be a Miles Morales figure, but the more I looked at it, the closer I looked at it, it is definitely going to be Spider-Boy, aka Bailey. The next one was a arm, like a forearm. And this is very clearly the Spider-Man Unlimited forearm. Some people thought it might be might be a Madam Web thing, but I think this is going to be the Spider-Man Unlimited forearm. These are teases for probably next year's Spider-Man wave. So take that for the grain of salt. So one big thing that they did announce that I thought was interesting is that there is no HasLab this year.
That's the big ones, like the Sentinel and the
the Sentinel, the Giant Man, and Galactus,
and the Hell Charger. I think.
Yeah, the Hell Charger was the only one that didn't fund. They did the Giant Man last year that looked like it wasn't going to fund until like the last 48 hours, and then it finally got over the finish line. Which that should be shipping, I think, in October is the update that we got at San Diego. But they announced a often requested Marvel legend if you're a Fantastic Four fan. And that would be Dragon Man.
Oh, hang on. Shit. I need to pull that up.
So this is interesting because they're doing something a little different. Instead of doing a crowdfunding campaign, they're going to do a limited window pre-order. Basically, they're going to open it up for pre-orders for like a couple of days to gauge the interest in getting this produced as a alternative to a HasLab. This Dragon Man is massive. It's a huge figure. It's also one of the most expensive figures in the aftermarket. Hasbro's never made one. The last time I think we saw one was during the Toy Biz Day, towards the end of Toy Biz in a Fantastic Four wave. Like this thing goes for like $600-700 on eBay. Obviously that is now cratered with this announcement. But this is other than like Fin Fang Foom and maybe an Onslaught, they've redone almost all of the Build-A-Figures from the Toy Biz days. So it's going to be very interesting to see how successful this is going to be. It's going to have a bendy wire tail, though it's got multiple wings and I think multiple different heads. I don't know what the price is going to be yet. They have not fully announced that. More details to come. There it is next to it. 17.5-inch wide, 10.5-inch tall Dragon Man. So it has the alternate hands. I'm sorry, I thought it had alternate head. They put the Reed Richards figure for scale next to it. So I think they've still got some licensing things they gotta do. But yeah, so that is a pretty big, significant reveal. But then, though, they were like more, and
more ROM.
And yes, finally, ROM Space Knight. Apparently, all the legal hurdles have been cleared. So a figure that I think that it's owned by Hasbro, but Marvel had it.
So what I'm aware of is that Marvel had the publication license,
Yeah.
but Hasbro gave it to IDW, and since IDW lost a lot of the Hasbro licenses to Skybound, I think that Rom.
If you scroll
I don't
down,
think it defaulted back to
yeah,
Marvel, but
Neil, if you scroll down, there's some better images.
oh yeah, here we go.
So that way we can throw
Why
those.
did it not open? Please open. There we go.
So that's Rom Space Knight. That's the much better looking one. The Dragon Man as well.
I'll post. Hang on, let me get the thing.
Yeah, that looks. Yeah. So all this is on our Discord. If you have not found us on Discord, the link is going to be in the description below.
Oh wait, you said. Oh wait, you said the Infinity War. I thought you said the Black Order guys. That's why I said Proxima and Corvus. That's the Outriders.
Yeah, the Outriders. I couldn't remember the Outriders. That was the name.
Sorry,
So,
I was thinking like the two regular.
Yeah, so that
people.
one's. I think that one's going to be at a discounted rate. When they do these like Army builders like that, they usually don't charge. Instead of charging like $40 or $50 for the figures, they do like $35 because they know they're army builders. So, but yeah, so that is all the reveals. Like I say, the two preview teasers I think are going to be more for Spider-Man. They may reveal some of that at either London MCM maybe later this year, or I would think New York Comic-Con. So the only like Spidey stuff that's out right now is the 85th anniversary Superior Spider-Man is in stores now, so that is hitting out right now. Most of the 85th anniversary has shipped, so if you already pre-ordered those are coming. So yeah, the that is the San Diego roundup, which I didn't think was going to take 45 minutes. Sorry, guys.
I got a couple more.
I mean,
things.
we don't have to talk about ASM that much because there's not a lot to talk about.
What's a couple more things there, Adam?
I got a couple more things from Comic-Con. All right, there was a spotlight on Jerry Conway panel, which I was like, okay, I got to see that because I think the last one was like 11 years ago or something, and I didn't go to it. So I was like, all right, it's time to do it. And it was good. He talked about his career and took questions. And who asked the question? Well, he didn't ask the question, but who came to the microphone? But John Semper himself. And he said he took the. It was really nice though. He took the moment to just thank Conway for all of his work and being an influence on him and doing the pilot for Spider-Man the Animated Series and all that. It was a nice moment. And then I saw the premiere of the first episode of Cape Crusader, which is out today, and that was pretty good. I suggest people check that out. It's interesting. Got a nice mood and tone to it.
Does Bab and Babs and Bruce hook up because that's what Bruce Timm's talking about?
No, well, and Bruce Timm, like everyone's talking about that, and like I guess Bruce Timm actually came out and said, "Look, there's none of that in this."
Good. I do think it's funny that like he had to do it because now everyone's just like, "Oh, he's a funky little fella."
Yeah, and then I met Ashley, and that was fun.
Yeah, you did. You got to meet Ashley, so we'll hear more about Ashley's experience when we do the ultimate episode. So they can talk about their meeting. But so does that wrap up our San Diego?
Basically, I mean, it was X-Men's year. Definitely, I saw a couple X-Men '97 panels and
and just put that on the Marvel website, which is weird on the roundup.
Well, they were kind of like they weren't really Marvel affiliated. They were like. The one was they were basically two podcasts. The two I saw were like hosted by two different podcasts. One was Psychology of X-Men '97, which was hosted by the people who do the Arkham Sessions podcast, and it had Lenore Zahn and Allison Seeley Smith on it. And then the other one I saw, which was in a huge room, was hosted by an X-Men podcast. I can't remember which one, but they host they've been hosting these fan panels at Comic-Con for like 5 years or something now, and they had like a ton of the cast. They had Cal Dodd and Lenore Zahn and Allison Seeley Smith and some of the others that I can't remember. The Holly Chu, I think is her name, who does Jubilee now, and the guy who does Bishop. I think I remember his name, but I don't totally remember it, so I don't want to get it wrong. And yeah, that was a good panel too. Anyway, and then you look at a lot of the stuff they were showing at the Hasbro booth, and it was a lot of X-Men figures.
Yeah. The Hasbro booth was like I say, they brought out the prototype of Dragon Man. I know they had the Giant Man, set up. So that's the final version of Giant Man now. Because like I said, it's going to ship. They actually had the box art and the actual box out, so that was kind of cool. So it looks like it was, I know on the Spidey side of things, it was really kind of not much, which was kind of disappointing. But like you said, Neil, earlier, just feels like we're just treading water at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think it's fine to take a break. Like, I don't know, they do it so often that
I don't think it needs to be like a constant 24/7 hype train time, but I do think that like at San Diego Comic-Con, like one of the biggest comic conventions in the country, maybe have something like exciting to pump out. Like I was saying, DC had a really good turnout with like announcing a lot of important stuff.
Yeah.
And like Marvel just announcing some web comics and some stuff we kind of already knew about was just a little underwhelming.
I am interested to see what happens at D23.
And New York.
We got D23 in New York coming up, and I think that maybe we'll see some stuff. By the time New York hits, we're going to be pretty close to the... So we'll be close to the January or the February solicitations. So maybe we'll get kind of a roadmap for what happens after the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man. But speaking of villainous Spider-Man, let's get to the topic of tonight's episode.
The reason you people logged on.
You poor bastards. Neil, are you going to do the recap, or do you want me to?
I'll kind of speed run.
Okay.
All right. Amazing Spider-Man. Is it 53? Yeah, it's 53. ASM 53, written by Zeb Wells, art by Todd Knock and Ed McGuinness, inks by Todd Knock and Wade Von Grawbadger, colors by Marcio Menyes, and letters by VC's Joe Caramagna. Norman's doing some spooky things. Hey, give Peter Parker my giant arms manufacturing company that also develops propulsion. I don't know what we do here. He's just here to be Spider-Man. He goes into his secret lair and puts on his weird Goblin Man costume and wanders into his, I guess, the lab.
Yeah.
Oh, Clean Room Sigma. As you hear funk playing, Norman wanders down to Clean Room Sigma grind. And he goes, "Hey, Peter, where are you? Where's my spear?" And a voice comes, "Peter isn't here. It's me, Miss Marvel, the character who vanished for 30 issues and is back for no reason." Along with the Walking Brain, Doc Connors wearing Dr. Octopus's old harness, and everyone's favorite Battletoad, Wreck Rap. Kamala cloned his access cards, and was like, "This whole time, and we never alluded to it, Peter was planning to take you down, even though he never mentioned it to the reader." And the Green Goblin goes, "Well, stuck shit, fart ass," and then he starts beating the crap out of them.
Now this entire first section is drawn by Todd Knock.
And then it cuts over to Ed McGuinness, who is showing Peter trying to resist the Goblin. Here, okay, I need to get this out of the way. This run has no idea how the hell the Goblin's sins work.
Yeah.
like
I'm so glad we're done with this.
yeah.
After this,
And
I'm tired of this.
I was talking with friend of the show Mike McNulty about this. That I think Wells' implication is that the Sins are sentient. Like when Mephisto made the deal with Norman back in Spencer's run, easily one of the worst parts of his run, by the way. That the implication is that they're a personality all their own, manufactured by Mephisto, and that when they're gone, they make him good. But anyways, Peter is is trying to resist the goblin personality, or is it the spider who gobbles? Who gives a shit? He's rebuilt the spear and put the Winkler device on top of it. If that's not a metaphor for the self-cannibalization of comic book properties, I don't know what is. Meanwhile, Green Goblin's beating the shit out of everybody. Like, he's wiping the floor with them. And tragically, can we get some recorder music playing? Everyone's favorite boy, Rec Rap, takes the boy. That's not a clap. Okay, first off, turn that shit down. Second of all, that's not a recording. So Alexa, play a shitty flute recording of My Heart Will Go On. Rec Rap takes a goblin glider to the chest, but I guess he's okay. But he might be dead.
Yeah.
Craven wakes up. Did he get knocked out, or did he just stand there?
No, he knocked everybody else out. He basically just took out the entire Sinister Six by himself.
Oh, okay. So Craven took out the Sinister Six by himself and is like, I have chosen the way of honor. I am Worf from Star Trek. I am here to fight the forces of evil they don't understand. Anyways, Kamala's freaking out. She's like, murderer! You murdered my favorite character in the book. You murdered Rec Rap. And the walking brain, he goes with me. I carry the keys to your feet, and he just explodes.
Yeah. Like his head pops off.
His head pops
like
off.
his
And
entire
Norman,
thing
like,
short.
looks at the camera, was like, "I didn't do that."
Yeah.
Holy shit! Your Jaleel Light impression is like spot on. Holy shit, that's scary. So somehow Miss Marvel got the Doc Ock arms, and now she's winning, I guess. So Jonah and Doug. Okay, I didn't connect the dots until like just this issue.
Well, because they say it in the recap page. They're like, "This guy's from beyond."
Yeah, I didn't realize that this is the same guy from ASM 45 who brought his cell phone into the clean room.
Yeah,
but this is the same guy from Beyond who got fired and gave himself a huge raise before bouncing. But they're doing something. I don't know what they're doing. Hang on, fight scene. Goblin does the thing from Empire Strikes Back and falls further into his Power Rangers tube, and Peter says, "Bye, guys. I'm gonna go finish this." And Kamala says, "Doug from Beyond, we need to get that door open," but Craven has him at knife point. Goblin's going, hee hoo hoo, how many war crimes can I commit today? And Peter gets him at spear point. And he lets Peter stab him with the Sin Spear, but then the Sins just go right back into Peter.
Because the Sins wanted Peter.
Wait, did the Sins ever... Wait, hang on. I thought the Sins were contained in the spear, and then they got out. And why did they have the spear again?
Because they went back into the spear because Craven was like trying to keep them in the spear, and now it's basically just it's Spider who gobbles the final confrontation, which leads us to issue 54.
Okay.
Well, no, I think because what happens? Hold on. What happens is that like the Winkler device. So the reason why Peter is still hearing the goblin and everything is because of the Winkler device stuff.
Yeah, that's what I thought about that.
What he's doing is he's combining the spear and the Winkler device to try to take the Sins from Norman once and for all and destroy them. So he hits Norman with the spear,
So how did they get back into Norman?
Well, they were back. They were already. They went back into Norman.
Oh, in the Incel Peter arc.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because again, like, because what happened was it was revealed recently that during that arc, Peter went to the Winkler device when he was under the influence of the Goblin, and they did some,
Funny
some like
brain stuff.
Goblin brainwashing, essentially, like, so that if he basically went back into it, he would become the Goblin again, but not via the sins. It's all
So-
very.
I gotta be honest. The fact that we're having to go back and figure out what the hell is going on, I think speaks volumes about how poorly thought out this is.
It does make sense, but it was.
It wasn't visually conveyed well.
Yeah. Well, and also because it was revealed a couple issues ago that this was something that happened off panel in the sinful Peter
yeah.
arc.
Like that's what Hallows Eve. That's what Gabi Mommy was implying, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
Peter had been strapped up to the Winkler device before.
So basically, because like in this whole arc, he's under the influence. The Winkler device brainwashed him into basically thinking he was the Green Goblin again. But because of that, this Winkler device Green Goblin influence wants him to actually get the sins back from Norman and have Peter take them back. So because it, I don't know, is it revealed this issue or the next issue that basically they are like this like sentient thing, and they want to basically inhabit Peter and not Norman anymore, and that's why Norman is
that's why
relinquishing control of Oscorp over to Peter for seemingly no reason.
That's why he says it was you, Peter. The sins want you.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, it's
basically the sins want Peter because he's the new shiny, like comparatively.
Yeah. The sins are tired of Norman.
From a
they're bored.
Look, from a certain standpoint, like I have always disagreed with the fact that Norman and the Goblin are two separate personalities. No, they are one. Making them two separate personalities, I think, is an attempt to go back to like one of the worst tropes of like the Stan Lee era, which was the constant amnesia and crap. And so anyway, let's get we'll finish the recap here. So basically,
Peter, I'm still in there.
So there is a big confrontation between Norman and Peter, just to keep it simple. Eventually, turns out the key to the demise is the key to victory is actually the living brain setting up, combining with the Winkler device. And
I figured that was gonna happen.
Yeah, and so then there's a bit of a fight in the Mindscape between Peter and the Goblin. We get a really beautiful splash page of like Ed McGuinness just
key moments,
just recapping Peter's history and
key moments in Spider-Man history, including One More Day.
Yeah, he domes the Goblin sins, and then the sins, I guess, just die somehow.
Yeah.
And Miss Marvel's out there going like, "Open the door! Open the door!" And meanwhile,
because Kraven, like, he wanted Peter and Norman to fight to the death, essentially, like, or for honor or whatever. He basically wanted to see like who would win, and he didn't want anyone to interfere. But I think Miss Marvel, with the help of the Octo Arms, like,
just beat the shit out of him.
Yeah. So then they're still trying to open the door, but Peter wins. So it's like, okay.
And so Peter and Norman come out and say the Green Goblin is dead. Norman goes, "It's me. I'm definitely not going to become the Goblin again in 5 years when the storytellers are bankrupt creatively again." Jonah and Doug are high, with drugs that were injected into them off screen. Rec Rap wants to keep the Goblin Glider, which is honestly kind of the funniest part of the issue.
Can I keep this? You stabbed me through the heart with it.
Are you okay? No clue.
No clue.
And I guess Peter lost his job off panel because Norman says this might be not the right time, but if you need a job, and Peter says, "I had a job, Norman, and I did it." And
then literally, An entire page, just
Oh,
the end.
And it kind of
it's the shitty cloud JPEG.
Yeah.
And it's kind of it's sort of abrupt. Like it's kind of a
like they lost a page. Like I think they like lost a page.
And then it's revealed in the letters page that Wells was going to leave at 55, but they extended his contract until 60. So that's interesting.
So this would have been like the penultimate issue. He would have had like his final issue to do. So yeah, basically now we know issue 55 through 60. The next 5 issues is the final arc of
it's a filler. It's a filler arc before we get to the next filler arc.
Well, this wraps up the Tombstone element and the Peter and Tombstone stuff. So, and assumably we'll see some teases and setups for the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man. So
I wanted to point something out real quick. In the letters page, Corey Strode from Chaska, Minnesota, asks one spider. It raises the question of like, why is there no supporting cast in this book? And
Right.
Lowe says Peter's neglect of his personal life as supporting cast has been one of the things we've been leaning into during his time watching over Norman. That's bullshit. That's a retroactive answer. The truth is, frankly, that no writer since like 07 has really cared about Peter's supporting cast in so much as they are devices to be used to move the plot along. And this feels more like a retroactive answer that only works retroactively. Like it doesn't work as like it feels more like I meant to do that all along kind of answer to like why we haven't used a supporting cast aside from like Randy once.
Yeah. So we also learned that next issue is going to be Emilio Lacio is going to do the book, and then John Romita is back for Amazing Spider-Man number 56, which is AKA 950. Hard to believe that we are now 100 issues since that cover, the cover that's on my wall. So kind of crazy to think about. So let's go through and do grades. And man, Neil, what's your grade?
C's.
C for both?
Yeah.
All right, let me do that. So Neil's grade's a C.
Oh, actually, I'll ask a good question that the Goblin suit that Peter was wearing was an actual suit, but I guess it was just like a hallucination. When in doubt, just blame unstable molecules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When Ben fills him with his creamy Baja Blast,
Oh God.
just assume the unstable molecule. Just assume the psychoreactive goo made him a real boy again.
Creamy Baja. No, thank you.
Oh man, it's funny. What was I? Oh, I was watching Ghostbusters 2 again the other day, and they use the phrase psychoreactive goo in that.
Adam, what's your grade?
I think I'll go C+.
Adam's grade is C+. Okay, I'm going to go B-.
I could maybe go for B-. It's probably like C+, B-, maybe.
It's interesting that they flipped the covers, by the way. This was supposed to be 54's cover was supposed to be 53, and then 53's cover was supposed to be 54, but then
I hate those like generic ass covers where like it tells you nothing about what's happening.
At least these are like kind of,
No, they fit.
They fit this.
The last one does.
The last one fits.
Not the first one though. Not.
Oh yeah, this one. Yeah, 53's cover is kind of just. That was done.
Wasn't that supposed to be the cover? Wasn't that supposed to be the cover 51?
I think so, and they shifted all these covers around once they did the reveal of the Spider Who Gobbles.
I love we don't even call him like the Spider-Goblin, like he's actually supposed to be named. We just call him the Spider Who Gobbles because he basically just is the Batman who laughs.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say like Neil, why do you give it a C?
The positives of the art. It's basically knocking McGinnis firing on all cylinders. Narrative wise, it's so clunky and it's all over the place narratively. Fight scenes are good, but that's more up to McGinnis being able to choreograph a good page and lay out a good page and stick the landing than like any real narrative importance.
Yeah.
I don't know. This arc was basically just like, if you care at all about the walking brain and or the sin spear, this is your arc, but otherwise you will not give a shit.
Yeah.
I did honestly though, I did like that he ties it all back to what was it,
900?
Yeah, 900. I kind of like that actually. That, you know, the living brain, walking brain stuff has a point, and it kind of,
Oh yeah, like ties back to the who is Peter Parker bit.
yeah.
I guess to me it just feels a little unearned because there wasn't really that narrative through line up until like the last minute. It kind of, like I said, it feels
True.
like in the same vein that Lowe tries to kind of cover his ass by saying like, oh, we meant to not use the supporting cast, as opposed to just we didn't know what to do with them. It feels
like both things could be true though, in a way. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
And we will probably do a full post-mortem of the Wells run.
Yeah, the autopsy.
Do we have
to?
Oh shit! When Adam doesn't want to do something, that's how you know we're.
But like,
I mean, we're doing this stuff in real time, man.
Yeah. Well, what
Holy shit!
But I'll okay. Adam, give your thoughts, and then I'll give mine, and we'll wrap up.
I mean, like Neil said, the art's really good. Knock is great. McGinnis is great.
Oh, shout out to it wasn't Rochelle Rosenberg, it was Marcio Menez. I've complained about his work on Menez on Romita Jr.'s line art, but he really does good work with McGinnis and Gleason, and this
it looks a lot. I think it looks a lot better with McGinnis. I think it is. I don't know. I think I was talking about this before. I think there's like Romita Jr.'s work, his line art. There's not. I think I was talking about depth. Like, there's not a lot of depth in his style, which isn't a bad thing, but it's just flatter in general. And like McGinnis kind of has a bit more depth to it. I don't know.
Menez creating depth.
I think it. Yeah, he's creating depth for Romita Jr. That Romita Jr. It's not quite working. I think
it's like trying to dive. It's like trying to dive. It's trying to dive in the shallow end. You crack your skull on the floor of the pool.
Sometimes I do think, to be fair though, I do think it works sometimes on Romita Jr., but there are other times it doesn't, and a lot of that I think is when he colors the line art, which I don't think Romita Jr. is the kind of artist that you color his line art.
Oh, or you do like that Gaussian blur on like a top layer.
Yeah, I get. Well, it's like when you take like facial details and you make them kind of more of a skin tone instead of just a black line, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway,
that works more with McGinnis than it does with
yeah. And I think it's because McGinnis has a bit more of a fuller style, or I don't know. His shapes are different than Romita Jr.'s, and that kind of coloring works better for the shapes that he's doing.
There's more curved. McGinnis has more curved line art.
Yeah.
Within his geometry, like he's a very geometrical artist.
Yeah.
But he has a lot more curve to his geometry than Romita does.
Mm-hmm. And there's nothing wrong with either of that. It's just like, I think that's why the coloring can tend to look off for, you know. Anyway, where else? What was I saying? Yeah, I mean, okay, it was kind of easy to guess that they were going to do the walking brain thing to basically unbrainwash Peter, but I did like that little development, and I thought, like I said, it was a good way to kind of bring it back around to the who is Spider-Man, who is Peter Parker thing that they were doing what seems like years ago now.
It's been 2 years.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, going back to that, I mean, I guess I can appreciate that Wells is trying to tie all of his big plot things back together.
This is just such a weird issue to do it. This is just such a weird issue to do it in. Like,
it does just seem to end kind of abruptly. Like, okay, that's it. It's like, see you, Norman. The end, and the big page, the end, and it's like,
see you for the filler arc.
And then I feel like you know, Jonah and Jonah and Connors and Kamala and Rec Rap, they don't really do anything. They're kind of just there. Well, they're there to sort of move the plot along, I guess. They're there to like listen to the walking brain and essentially get him from point A to point B, and then to kind of fight Green Goblin, which I guess that's fine, but I don't know.
Yeah, you're right that it feels like Wells wanted to do trying to figure out the way to put it. It feels like he wanted to get to the Peter and Norman fight a lot faster, but he needed to pad out the trade. So he was just like, okay, Venkman, you're asking I covered this earlier, pun, but I'm getting some repairs done in my office, so all my stuff is covered to prevent dust. I untarped my computer just so I could do this podcast, just for you. Not you specifically, but for you, the audience. But like the back and forth between Peter and Norman in the tunnel, like, they're just constantly trading the sins back.
Yeah,
and forth.
that's
all pointless.
Yeah, that was like filler, repetitive, kind of just unnecessary. Like we didn't need to go back and forth with that. It was kind of like comical. I don't know. It was just like,
to be frank, we could have cut this arc in half and nothing would have changed.
Yeah, probably.
We didn't need the Sinister Six fight. We didn't need the Sinister Six fight. Maybe we can live with that. I can live with the Sinister Six fight.
It was cool. Like, I think you keep that, but like, I don't know. I feel like there's maybe a better way to use the B Squad to, get and try to help Peter.
Maybe fight an army of like goblin drones or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
instead of just because they don't do anything to Goblin. They just fight him and get the crap beat out of them. They don't do anything.
He does get stabbed in the chest, and he's just like holding his chest. Does that mean his healing factor is just kicking in? I do have a series of questions.
I feel like the spear, like, I don't know if the spear necessarily like wounds.
There's blood in the beginning of the issue.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, I guess so. You're right.
But
it feels like it's like not a.
When he's like losing blood out of his mouth, like you do when you get like a stab wound in media.
Right. I don't know. The spear is odd because it feels like if the idea is to like give and remove the sins, it should just not necessarily injure the person. It should be more of like some kind of a magical, just I don't know, whatever.
That's a future React meme.
I fucked your wife, shit lips.
God damn it.
But yeah, I mean, I guess I thought the Who is Spider-Man thing was okay and kind of touching. In
a vacuum, it's good.
Yeah, I mean the double page spread was great.
Yeah.
To me, I just think in the context of the run, it feels unearned. In a vacuum, it's good, but to me, it just feels like we're choosing this issue of all time, like, because I know, like, apparently this was supposed to be like not his last issue, but next issue is supposed to be like his last issue. But it feels like Wells is like, okay, oh shit, I forgot this plot point, got to wrap that up.
It just feels so abrupt, and that was, I think it was maybe during 54 too, that like, or maybe not 53. It was 53 or 54 where they just keep going back and forth. Well, I know they're trading the sins, and that's just kind of too much. But there was another thing where it was like they keep cutting to the different plot points, and I mean, it was okay, but it just seemed very abrupt each time. Like, okay, I think it was 53. Like, we're going from Peter working on the spear and the Winkler device helmet, and then we're going to Green Goblin, and then we're going to the other people, and then we're going back to this and back to that, and then it's like, oh, Peter's here to give to take the sins from Norman and get rid of them forever, and it's like it was just so jumpy.
Yeah, to be honest, okay, like I thought, and maybe you guys can correct me on this, that ASM 31 was supposed to write Kamala out of the book as a supporting character. I don't know what she brings to the book to justify bringing her back. To be fair, I like Kamala as a character, and I think that they do a good job like translating her new X-Men costume, even though she's going back to the classic one in NYX, which is, I guess, her book now. But it's like I thought she was written out to go fight the genocidal fascist over in X-Men, not to, not to come back like 20 issues later just to move the plot along. Oh, that's a good point, Exiles, for him to save for Wells to save face. Well, he doesn't do a good job because she's still not written especially well here.
No, she's just tacked in. So I haven't given my thoughts as to why I gave it a B-.
Sorry, Zach.
No, you're fine.
We got a little.
No, I want you guys to give your thoughts. So, pros for me, the artwork is absolutely stellar. Todd Knock needs to be a regular part of the rotation, in my opinion. I think he's more than earned it in the heavy lifting in this arc. Him and McGinnis's artwork just flows together really well. They have a very similar style, and I think that if you're going to keep McGinnis on long term, maybe you bring in Knock as one of the rotating guys along with Gleason, and if you're keeping Ramita Jr.
or Gleb.
Yeah.
I say Gleb as though I know him personally, but I'm gonna just call him Gleb because Big Gleb.
But he is Gleb.
He is Big Gleb.
So my issue with this story is that it reads better. Like, this reads better when you read them back to back.
Oh yeah, that's what I did.
If you don't read them back to back, if you're reading this like weekly, it is such a just discombobulated, disjointed story. And it's the problem that I have with this entire run. We are 54 issues in. And for the most part, all this stuff I have not cared about. Other than like the dark Spider-Man stuff. That was the best part of it. The fact that we were getting this like final.
Wells got to write in his wheelhouse. He got to write an edgy character for a bit.
Yeah, it was like, okay. I was interested when we had Gleason on for that arc, and it's like, okay, it just feels like now we are in the. You know how like in a TV show you can tell you're getting towards the end of a season.
Like when they start like wrapping up all the plot, I guess as a specific comparison, the final 10 episodes of like Deep Space Nine, where like all the characters are clearly moving into their end game positions.
Yes, and
like it's very clear that like tonally, it's like very clear, like, oh, we're moving towards the end of the series.
So I've complained often about how Spider-Man has yet to stick a landing in years. And I not that I am expecting them to do that this time. However, it just felt like the biggest issue with Zeb Wells' run is it's so disjointed and it's so decompressed. And I think it's really on display here. Clearly, McGinnis had to have help, so there's the blessing and the curse of that. Right. But the Norman's motivations don't make sense.
There's some really clunky dialogue in here.
Technically, it's not Norman's motivations; it's the Sin's motivations.
Which is stupid because, like, again, I mentioned earlier, that's like maybe the worst retcon of Spencer's run was that Norman did a deal with Mephisto, and this is like trying to personify them as like a sentient being, and also I guess they can be defeated by the power of love or willpower. I guess Peter's the goddamn Green Lantern now.
He's always had a lot of willpower,
right? But this is like the first time where it's like, oh, I beat someone in my brain.
Well, it's kind of like Spectacular with the symbiote. That's how he beat the symbiote in Spectacular.
Well, I guess to me that one felt a bit more earned.
Yeah.
Exiles makes a good point. He feels like I'm in the I'm checked out phase. No, it's more like I have to check these boxes, which is why I feel like they shoehorned Kamala in, which I think was just odd. And it's like, oh, hey, I have all these little minor plot points. The fact of the matter is that for almost 40 issues, the stuff with Jonah, the stuff with the living brain, it's now taken us 40 issues to get the resolution of it. That's a little absurd. That's a little unfair to the fan base. So I think that
I thought that was just like resolved in ASM 900. I thought that was just like, oh, it's done. I didn't think like an ASM 45. I'm like, wait, what the fuck?
Yeah, that we're gonna get,
A follow up to the Living Brain, I
yeah,
guess.
yeah. So other than Tombstone, there really isn't anything more left to work on. So now the entire
there is one thing.
Don't say it.
It's the best character in the book, but because people will get mad if I mention him, not Peter,
Paul
still put back in the toy box. I'm gonna be honest, like this arc and this issue, in this last issue in particular, where it ends abruptly, this feels the most written down version of put the toys back in the box I've ever seen. In that, like, you can see Wells like checking off like what's in the toy box. So it's like, okay, I put this back in, I put this back in. Oh shit, I forgot to put that back in. And it'll be really funny if like Paul's the only thing to not get put back in the box when this run ends. And there's a decent chance that he might be, or that he might not be, because the art that Melnikov posted on Twitter that got people into a frenzy was Shay is sticking around. So Peter and MJ aren't getting back together by the end of this run, probably.
Which honestly, I don't trust either Kelly or
Wells to fix, yeah,
to do that. Like, for everybody that's bitching and moaning about that, like, that's not what the powers that be want right now. Do
you really want them to be the ones that put them back together?
Like, I don't trust these guys to do the characters right. I'm sorry. And I'd rather them not jack with the character of Mary Jane any more than they already have, than them try to create, create something to appease a group in the fan base. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Also, I didn't think about this until just now, but Rec Rap came back for no reason. Like, he had he had like what was essentially, I don't want to say well written because the arc was kind of shit at the end, but he got like, a technically fine conclusion to
the
his
only
arc.
reason Rec Rap was brought back is because of McGinnis, and that's the bottom line. Rec Rap didn't need to be.
I mean, maybe I don't know.
I know that's like the case. Like McGinnis just wants to draw Rec Rap some more, but like on a storytelling level, Rec Rap's arc was done.
Yeah, you had a pretty effective ending.
Well, the thing is, Nock draws most of the Rec Rap, right? And
that's the weird part, is that like if McGinnis wanted to draw Rec Rap some more, why is Nock the one who drew him?
That's why I think that, I don't know. That's why I want to, like, I guess, push back about like, oh, McGinnis wants to keep drawing this character, because like, well, if he had a pretty good send off several issues ago, and he just kind of gets brought in to, say a couple more one-liners and get impaled, it's like, then.
Admittedly, I did get a chuckle out of him, like going, "Oh, I have more hearts."
Yeah,
are you sure? Absolutely not. Like, that was funny. Like, it's just like it's a sensible chuckle. It's the sensible chuckle book from Danger 5. Haha. I got it.
Know. I just feel like
here y'all gonna get me on a rant. Y'all gonna get me on a rant.
A rec rant.
There was one thing that was announced. Hang on. There was one thing that was announced that we didn't talk about at San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh yeah, dude, you should have made a short of that. That would have gotten views. Make a short of that soon, and it'll get views, I bet.
Do it,
buddy. Like, I'm barely just getting up and going to work and getting home. I have had.
I'll make it. Just tell me what it is. I forgot what it is.
What?
Tell me what it is, and I'll make a short out of it.
It's the Spider-Girl reveal for Spider-Man.
Yeah, throw a hammer through the Marvel art office.
Do you remember, like, Neil, do you remember the old discount tire commercial where it was this little old lady like rolling a tire up to the tire shop and just tossing the tire through the glass window?
I don't remember that, but I'll take your word for it.
I do. I remember that.
That's what I think we wanted to do in regards to this Spider-Girl thing. And I don't want to hate something. I don't want to be a hater.
They knew what they were doing, though.
But I don't
You know, let Kelly do the short.
Well,
She probably has more words.
yeah. Well, I don't know if Kelly can get it done in a single minute. What I will say is my issue with that is, and it goes back to Rec Rap. The whole reason I'm bringing it up. Rec Rap.
Oh, is this a Ben Riley bit?
Rec Rap, Spider-Girl, all these other spider-related characters. Nick Lowe tells the audience that Ben Riley's existence is that there are too many characters that are spider related. And what do? Not a year or two after, or 3 years after this, they add multiple spider related characters in the 616, Rec Rap, and this new Spider Girl and Spider Boy.
And Webhead from the Infinity.
Yeah,
Comics.
well, first of all, the Webhead thing, that's Infinity Comics, that's fluff, that's nothing.
Yeah, true. But I'm counting it because she has a Marvel wiki page. So
but also,
we've now added to the roster 4 more.
Yeah, but these are just like these are like they're barely getting their 15 minutes. Like, if anything, the only one that's got longevity is Spider Boy. Because Slot
wants to keep writing him.
Yeah, and Slot's apparently having fun doing it, and it's apparently a decent book. I'm just saying that, like, this stuff isn't gonna last. Like, Rec Rap isn't here to stay. And like, and Webhead and the Infinity comic, that's just like, I mean, who cares about the Infinity comics?
There's actually things going on in it. Like, they've announced new Avengers Academy book with like.
Yeah, but who's reading them?
Not me.
Well, look,
I only know about it because people got angry.
Hang on. Let me press back on that, because I am my subscriber to Marvel Unlimited, which I think it is, for the money, the best investment you can make as a Marvel fan. And with that Web of Spider-Man omnibus coming, that means that the entire first 34 issues of Web of Spider-Man is going to come to Marvel Unlimited, which I think is a good thing. We are going to be, 4 or 5 of those omnibuses, and the entire run of Web of Spider-Man's collected. So, like, that's a net positive, I think, long term.
Okay, so Tevia's asking questions in the chat. That Spider-Girl's made it. Congratulations, you figured it out. Why are they introducing new Spider-Girl? This is Mayday Parker, because they know it'll get us mad. The entire point of throwing it's not just bait. It's okay. You already have a Spider Boy. Now we're introducing a Spider Girl. It's the Christina, narrative, by the way, probably.
What's that?
It's probably Christina, by the way.
Yeah, I would think that's my thought. Narratively speaking, as much as I dislike it, it makes sense from a story perspective. Do I like it? No, I don't.
It's the narrative equivalent of the Marvel Treehouse with Spider-Man, Hulk, Iron Man, or Captain America and Spider-Girl in the Treehouse.
Yeah, Spider-Boy to me is not a failure. I think Spider-Boy is a success. I think Spider-Boy is mismarketed.
Yeah, it's definitely.
I don't think it's a failure so much as it's being sold to the wrong demographic. This shit would sell gangbusters if it was like in a Scholastic book sale.
If it was in Scholastic books, if it was at the supermarket, it is a true all ages book. And I know people don't like me saying that. People don't like me defending Dan Slott here on the channel, but I'm going to say this. If you read it as something of a all ages, breezy, easy book, Spider-Boy is a lot of fun in a way that I have not seen Marvel successfully accomplish since the original Spider-Girl.
Like this it feels like it kind of reminds me of Marvel Adventures.
Yeah.
With a bit more of a meta shake. Like where it kind of more pokes fun at the medium, or not pokes fun at, but it plays with the medium a bit rougher than Marvel Adventures does. That was just like
Marvel Adventures is something that took place in its own little world that you could sit there and give to your kid.
Okay, Tevye, this feels like a very loaded question, because you're right that it's not like a sales success, but your implication that it will fail really badly it feels like you want it to fail. Not necessarily that it's
Well,
because if it's a quality book or not. You want it to fail because it's a slot book and slot
Well,
makes you mad.
And I'm also going to say this. I think the book has been successful. His
It
superior,
sells fine. It sells
yeah,
fine.
it sells fine. The superior book that he did, which I kind of go back and forth on it, but he finally got to write a true ending to that story
For the 5th time.
I know, but like an actual real ending. It felt like a definitive resetting of the character of Otto and making him more like the Otto we know.
The thing is that Gage already gave us that ending.
I agree with that, but like Dan
during
can't handle the
solo
fact
run.
that he didn't do that.
Yeah.
And so, but the end of the day,
the point broadly here is that the hypocrisy from not necessarily just Lowe, but the Spider Office in general, and I guess this kind of includes Brevoort because he kind of had oversight of the Office before he went to go oversee X-Men directly, is that Ben Reilly no longer has purpose, so let's make him into the Venom archetype, but here's 4 more OC donut steals for movie royalties that will go away within like 2 years.
Yeah. And because we've taken Venom so far away from his original premise, we have to have a dark side of the Spider-Man. But why does it have to be Ben Reilly?
And here's the thing: I personally think that Ben Reilly should have stayed dead. I know there's like an argument to be made that he can be resurrected.
Listen,
but
San Diego 2011. I'm the guy asking to bring back Ben Reilly. I will tell you, and I will pound this table. Not a single story with Ben Reilly since Clone Conspiracy has justified bringing him back.
And I think that's more of our argument than like Chasm bad inherently. It's more that they made a big stink about Ben Reilly not having a niche in the same way that Miles or Silk does. Also, they fail to use those characters. The only one they ever really use is Miles. They just kind of let Cindy and Kane and Miguel and Gwen rot.
Yeah. They're putting Gwen in the in Marvel's
the Marvel synergy title.
Marvel synergy title, aka the TVA book.
And Feedy and I were talking about this on the Discord server at night when everyone was trying to sleep and probably were waking everybody up talking about it. But Silk has gone out the window. Okay, she's still there, and she was actually just in Spider-Boy, so it's not like she's gone forever. But they haven't given her a solo title since they haven't given her a miniseries since last year, and that's not really an ongoing in the same vein. But we were talking about how
now they have to commit to 10 issues too, is the thing.
Yeah, and I don't think they see
even though I think that TVA thing is only 5 from what I saw, which is interesting.
The difference is that they make a distinction between an ongoing being a 10-issue commitment as opposed to a dedicated miniseries, which can be however many issues are on the.
That makes sense. Yeah,
solicit.
That's what I figured, but it was like, okay, like they want this to be a miniseries. Interesting.
Yeah. But our point broadly is like we said, Ben should have probably just stayed dead after Revelations.
Yes.
And the fact that they won't let him rest.
Yeah.
And just choose to use him as like I don't want to say Kane 2 because that's not really the direction he's going in.
Yeah. Kane went in a completely.
He had a good status quo and then they ruined it to put him on New Warriors.
Yeah. So, like I say, yeah, we'll digress on the Ben Reilly thing. More to come on that, obviously.
I might have to make Zach do a Curse of Cain review.
Great.
Question: do people care about the TVA book and Silk as a character? Because I don't. Well, congratulations on not caring. So the TVA book.
You got Neil. Tevye, you've got Neil extra salty tonight, just for the record.
So, okay, I do care about Silk as a character. I know a lot of people care about Silk as a character. There are people in our Discord who care about Silk as a character. Go see
I
the
saw
Discord.
a couple cosplays at Comic-Con.
Yeah. The TVA book, I think everyone kind of recognizes is just, we want the MCU money, even though that's not really there anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. The weird thing about the spiders is that you can't kill them all off, because then you get like, what was a Grim Hunt?
Yeah, it was Grim Hunt that
where they did a culling. Some of them are easy to get rid of. Jessica doesn't really count as a spider character. They just put her there because they wanted to trick us.
Don't get me. I will go on a full ass rant about Jessica being a spider character.
Well,
she's not a fucking spider character.
But like, you kill off Ben again. You kill off Ben again. Keep Peter, Miles, Cindy, and Kane as like the spider characters. You got a good balance there. Send Gwen back to Earth 65, even though she's, I guess, in witness protection on this Earth. Who gives a shit? Just send her back. I don't care.
Listen, here's my solution, and I know this is probably not realistic. Spider-Verse presents like the Marvel Comics presents back in the day, where you have 3 different stories each issue with like ongoing arcs within those stories. Do to have your Spider-Verse cake and eat it too.
Well, you're correct that Anya's been mishandled, but I don't know that has anything to do particularly with her taking on the Spider-Girl mantra, or if they just kind of forgot her in limbo.
Yeah, I mean, she just appeared in Spider-Boy as well, with Silk, so it's just a whole thing.
Okay,
anyway.
Friend of the show, Greg, who was just at Convergence, that has nothing to do with anything. I just think that's kind of a cool thing to talk about.
Hosted panels at Convergence.
Yeah, talking about Hot Potato with the Green Goblin personalities, if it's a symbiote or a hat being swapped. And then here's a good point: Norman's mental illness is actually a ghost that possesses people.
WTF? Yeah,
I don't think it's that I don't think that there's that layer to it, but I do think that the Hot Potato was easily the worst part of the issue.
Yeah.
Exiles also makes a good point that the density is the problem. Kane being okay, so back when Venom was still part of the Spider Office, he didn't have like his own dedicated editorial branch.
Yeah.
Back in like
which is so
back when Flash was Agent Venom and he was in Philadelphia, that shit rocked. When Kane was in Houston, that shit rocked.
Yeah, I agree.
When Miles was in his own universe, that shit rocked. I'm joking, because as much as I like to say like Miles should just go back, he's actually had much more original stuff to his name than he did in Ultimate.
Yeah, agreed.
So him being here is fine. But and also he and Peter have Manhattan and Brooklyn to each other, so there's that distinction. But like put Cindy, like they mentioned Ben in Hollywood in the Timeless one shot. That admittedly was more of a like, here's what might happen this year rather than what's going to happen with the Timeless one shots.
Yeah. That shit was so freaking confusing.
You could have just had Ben sacrifice himself for Peter and Beyond at the end of Beyond, and that would have probably been more narratively fulfilling. That honestly, like I'd rather go as the man I remember than
honestly. I don't disagree.
He could have thrown what's her name, Maxine
Janine.
Danger.
Oh, wait, shit.
No, he
Janine.
He could have thrown Maxine Danger in the psychoreactive goo.
Is that you?
He could have thrown Maxine Danger in the psychoreactive goo, and then you would have had a new female Spider-Man villain.
Yeah,
for him to fight. That would have been interesting.
Review coming soon of Hallows Eve. By the way.
But like I said, I think if they had just let Ben sacrifice himself for Peter and Beyond, we would have had something a bit more narratively fulfilling.
All right. So we're at an hour 45 in on this.
What were the rest of your thoughts on the issue, Zach?
Yeah, thank you. Getting us back on track. Thank you.
Sorry.
Well, you got me started on Rec Rap
Ben.
and Ben Riley rant and all that stuff. Honestly, I do like the fact that we are still using the quasi classic Norman costume, by the way.
Oh yeah, it's great.
It endures.
It like, to me, don't F with it. Also, who wants to take bets that they're going to do a Spider Who Gobbles Marvel Legend?
Yeah, probably.
You're probably right, but part of me thinks that it's not
All
as
they got to do
enduring
is a head swap and some color gradients, and
I guess to
and a
I guess
custom
to me
glider.
it feels more of like they'll probably end up doing it, but I guess to me I'm just having trouble justifying it because Hallows Eve and Chasm have at least stuck around. But
Yes,
the Spider Who
Yeah.
Gobbles was only there for like 2 issues and a couple covers.
I mean the fact that we have a Hallows Eve figure is kind of shocking. I'm not gonna lie.
It came out fast.
Yeah, which is why I think the Spider Boy thing has got credence, significant credence. All right, so like I say, yeah, that's more or less my thoughts. I think this storyline could have ended an issue earlier. There's a lot of filler, especially in 54. I mean, there's all these big giant splash pages, which are gorgeous and they look great, but like
You're wasting McGinnis.
it's a waste of. It's just entirely a waste of space. It was good to see McGinnis do the entire arc. Or do the entire issue. God bless.
5 goblins.
5 goblin. Yeah. So like I say, moving forward, next week, we are going to be back talking about Ultimate Spider-Man. I think that is the plan. I don't know what day yet. We may be doing it a little earlier. We'll be talking about Ultimate Spider-Man number 7.
So I did want to share some art from.
Oh no! Go ahead. Work on the art while I promote the next couple of episodes. So our next couple of episodes, number 1 next week is going to be the second half of Shadow of the Green Goblin.
Yes.
So that is what our plan is for next week. Also next week is the anniversary show for Crawlspace. So happy anniversary to them. And then the following week we will do Ultimate Spider-Man number 7.
Mm-hmm.
The following week to that, we will do the next issue of Spectacular Spider-Man. So we're going to be back, kind of our weekly schedule. And then I think the following week is either going to be ASM. Let me look.
Probably ASM, I would say.
Yeah, so we're doing Shadow, Ultimate, Spec, and then the new Ultimate's going to be coming out that week that we're doing Spec, and then ASM, and then Ultimate again. So not having the mini series will
give us a break.
Give us a little bit of a break. But the month of August looks like we're going to be going weekly again. So
we are booked and busy, folks.
So if you like this content, let us know by leaving us a comment down below. Neil wants to show off this artwork. So
yeah, so this is Big Gleb's contribution to the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man.
Yep.
Peter, go to hell at me.
Oh man.
Oh, so there's a wild 4chan rumor that just makes me laugh. I don't want to say
which one is that?
It was the one where basically they're saying that, like,
oh, hang on, I think I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah,
but yeah, this is.
Do you want me to read it? I'll just.
No, I think it's funnier if we let people try and figure out for themselves.
Yeah. So also the numbering is going to continue through 8 Deaths of Spider-Man. So
also going forward, once we hit episode 100 of the podcast, we're abandoning the episodes per season. We're skipping only to legacy numbering.
Yeah. So we're going to build up to the 100th episode, and then just pure legacy numbering at that point, even though we're like at like episode 115. But who's counting at this point? We're doing Marvel magic math at this point. So so we are booked solid for the rest of the month. We'll have Javi and Ashley back for Ultimate. I think we're going to have Josh back for the Shadow of the Green Goblin. And it'll be these two guys with me. And maybe Paul. We got to get Paul back on here. I miss Paul. Miss podcasting with Paul. Maybe I can get Paul back on here and Neil can go and stop being here against
Well, we got to at some point, we got to figure out when we do the next slot symposium.
Yeah, we got to throw in a slot symposium for everybody. We got to do some books of X. But
we also have to wrap up MTV, man.
We got to wrap up MTV, man. Which, I mean, the Patreon subscribers don't know that we haven't wrapped up MTV, man, because we haven't released all those yet. I have been super busy, and I will probably be busy halfway through until about possibly the end of August, working. So, but I'll be making good money. But I'm going to be very tired. So if I come across as tired, just know I am very tired. I worked today in 100 in heat that felt like 110 degrees Fahrenheit, or if you're a pinko commie, 45 degrees Celsius.
Wait, you calling Josh a commie?
It's just a joke.
Okay. Anyways, wrap up time. Hey guys, remember Patreon? People like Patreon. Let's thank our patrons.
Allison, Cindy, Ed, Georgia, Greg, Janelle, Jessica, Jurgen, Joyce, Catherine, Kale, Laura Howard, Lump Moose, Master Dragon, Venetian, RJ, Vanessa, and Vicky. Thank you so much for being sensational patrons. We got our spectaculars, Sarah, Tara, Walter, if he's still awake, and we got Scott McGraw and Vinkman are our VIPs. You see the friendly neighborhoods here up on the screen. If you have not already checked out our other fine programs, I am working on releasing in the next few days as of this recording. We have our Blood Hunt interview with artist Marcelo Fieri. He was the artist for Amazing Spider-Man Blood Hunt. Myself, Ashley, and Chris Dedmond of the Spectacular Sabusema Era podcast talked about that. I was going to try to get it working but while we were doing the show, but having some technical issues, so it is not out yet. It will also be up on the Spideydude Radio Network stream. If you want to listen to our spine-tingling Spider-Man Juan Fiera interview as well, we'll put that up on the screen, as well as I am going to reach out to JMD Mateus, because now that the Shadow of the Green Goblin is over, he's also launching his next phase of his Kickstarter, and he also, I think, is going to be writing season 2. Speaking of Batman Cape Crusader, I think he's writing some of that, so we'll get in contact.
And he has a story in Spider-Man Black Suit and Blood.
Yes. I think we may have to do a whole dedicated episode to that miniseries, because it seems like a very interesting one. Mm-hmm. Also, gonna try to reach out to Greg Wiseman and maybe get a back half of this year. So more on that to come. If you have not checked out the live episode of Voices from the Eyrie, it is up on my Twitter account. You can find it. We not only have it on Twitter, but we also have it here on the YouTube page, and Patreon also has it. So you can go to Patreon and get the slightly tweaked and edited version that Greg did. So go find it over on the Patreon page. That is available to the public for free right now. If you have not already checked out other fine shows like ASM Classics, Clone Saga Chronicles, and Spectacular Radio, I highly encourage you to do so over at Spidey-Dude.com. And of course, starting later this month, we'll have another episode of Make Mine Mayday. I think we're going to be doing it towards the end of August. So stay tuned to that. Stay tuned to our social medias like Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at Spideydude Network, at Spideydude Radio on the Twitters. And if you have not already found us on YouTube and you're an audio listener, Spideydude Radio Network on YouTube, as well as find me on TikTok at Spideydude Network as well. If you want to have your voice heard, you can always leave us a voicemail at 818-925-6631. You can even call while we're on the show, and then we'll play it during the show if you like. We'll also as we're starting to get closer and closer to the 100th episode, we are going to be doing a live caller show. So stay tuned for that as well. Thank you guys. For those that are watching us live, we really do appreciate you. For those of you that are listening after the fact, we always appreciate you as well. So we'll see you next time here on the Spideydude Radio Network.